price of leadership. It begins with loneliness. Aloneness when you move ahead, when you move away from the crowd. Loneliness begins when you make a decision to make it yours and die by it. It becomes real when you know who you're going to live your life with. You've made up your mind where you're going to live your life. You're not going to look for a better deal. You're going to build you a better life where you are. And knowing what you're living it for. But now the price goes on. The price of weariness. Weariness. But is this the age of being weary? No. This is the age of relaxation. Slow down. Patience of take it easy. You got to get away from it all. People used to say to me, Jones, you're going to kill yourself. You got to get away from it all. I say, get away from it all. I'm trying to get into it all. Why would I want to get away from it all? And I used to listen to these people tell me about how you overdo it, brother. Well, I'll tell you this. When you pay the price, you're going to be weary. You know why you're going to pay the price and be weary? Because you're going to have to do more than your share. Do you know why you got to do more than your share? To compensate for all the people around where you are that aren't doing their share. And you got to do more than your share for compensating them. And you don't ever talk about what you're not doing. They're not doing their share. You know somebody's got to do it, and if they're not going to do it, you're going to do it. Is that right? In every organization, every church, and every business, there's always some people who do more than their share to compensate for all the people who aren't going to do their share. Now, is that right? That's right. Absolutely right. You tell me you're not going to be weary? You're going to be weary. They're weary from doing nothing. So you know you're going to be weary from doing their share. Yet you hear people say, it isn't worth it. Do you know what kills people? You know what is wearisome? It isn't what you do. It isn't raising the children. It isn't teaching school. It isn't teaching church. You know what is wearisome? It isn't what you do. You know what's wearisome? The leader killers. All they do is they just hang around and holler, it isn't worth it. It isn't worth it. It isn't worth it. You know what I say? Who said it was? A mother doesn't do things for the children because it's worth it. You know why the mother does it? She knows she does it because somebody got to do it. You don't do the things you ought to do at work because you ought to do it. You do it because somebody better do it, or what you're a part of won't be worth being a part of, will you? Right. But only a leader thinks that way, do they? The person not paying a price will never think that way, will they? What do I care? I'll go somewhere else. Mm-hmm. Well, you'll have a lot of people with you, but you aren't tuned in on life yet. You see, I tell you why you're going to be weary. You're going to pay a price of weariness. Who is it that gets it? You stick your neck out, you're going to get it. You know, the guy went in to see the prospect. The prospect says, who let you in my office? You get off my property. You work for nothing but a bunch of blood-sucking gangsters. And if I catch you in my property again, I'll have you arrested. The guy said, I wish I had 100 prospects like you. He says, why? He said, I've got 1,000 like you. Now, why are you laughing? Because what you got to learn about life, I don't care whether you're witnessing or teaching Sunday school or whether you're in business, running a business, or out in the field selling, you got to get used to it. You're going to meet with rudeness. My young daughter sold books for Southwestern one summer. She was so happy. Down here in Bluefield, she met the most wonderful, dear people. Didn't have two negroes to rub together, but they were kind and thoughtful and generous and loving. Then she went over to a community one day where the rich people were, because she thought she'd go over there and make a killing and roll in the money. She called me on the phone that night crying her eyes out. She said, Dad, I didn't know anybody could be this rude. I never dreamed in all my life. Everybody I've talked to today just crying their eyes out. And I was so happy for her. I was so happy. Oh, I wanted to cry with her. But I was so happy she was learning what life is. Some people go through that rudeness, ridicule, every day of their life. It shouldn't be that way, but it is. You see, it's wearisome if you're going to see that and not give up. Keep on, go on back, honey, tomorrow. Going back over to Bluefield. They're not all like that. And she went back over and she found they weren't like that. You see, it's like the guy went to see the prospects and they insulted him. He went back to the manager and says, well, the manager was out taking a nap. So he told one of the old salesmen, he says, what do you do if you get insulted? He said, I don't know. Well, you mean you were never insulted? In all the years you've been, how long you been out? 20 years? You were never insulted in 20 years? Well, let me think. I've been kicked, spit on, and beat up, but nobody ever insulted me. Now, I like that. I like that. You know the mark of a good mother? You know the mark of a great executive? A thick skin and a soft heart. You know the mark of a little person? A thin skin and a hard heart. Now, how do you get a thick skin and a soft heart from a thin skin and a hard heart? I'll tell you how you do it. You realize there's going to be a price of weariness. You're going to have to do more than your share. You'll never get paid or thanked for it. But you'll enjoy the rewards of paying a price. That'll be the opposite of the rewards you'll get if you don't pay the price. Because you're going to be paid either way. Some of these days, oh, Lord, let's get something done. Let's go to work. Well, but there'll be a price there. Now, quick. The last price is abandonment. Abandonment. You know what a lot of people think leadership is? What you can't do. Leadership is what you can do. Leadership, it isn't what you're wrong about something that makes a difference. It's what's right about it. You see, there's not enough time to do all the things you like to do and want to do, and all the things you ought to do and need to do. So abandonment is when you see what you ought to do and need to do that keeps you from doing what you like to do and you want to do. Don't let anybody tell you do what you want to do. That's a lie. Most people do what they want to do. A few people, like mothers, and a few people do what they ought to do.